What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Slackerz, bringing you another sort of Smash Bros, we could say like a discussion sort of video for a specific character. So, if you've seen any of these, you know how it works, but if you haven't, basically I will take one character and I kind of will, I guess, go over the character and I guess why, just give you guys reasons why they actually might make sense for Smash Bros and DLC in the Fighter Pass. And then, obviously, you guys can let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments because, hey, who doesn't like talking about Smash Bros, am I right? Especially DLC, roster, new characters, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, we're going to go over, obviously, a specific character. And today's character happens to be Spyro the Dragon. And then we'll talk about, moveset, maybe a little bit of background about the character in case you've never played the game and you don't know who the character is. We'll talk about potential DLC the character could also bring with them in their fighter pack, the individual one. So yeah, let's jump into this, shall we? Alright, so up first, let's go over, I guess maybe a little bit of a backstory, for Spyro here. So, Spyro is a gaming culture icon. This franchise, the Spyro the Dragon franchise, has been around since the late 90s. This was practically up there with Crash Bandicoot at the time. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro were pretty much considered the faces of Sony, the Sony brand, the PlayStation brand for gaming, and that was huge. They were going up. They were practically rivals. Nintendo, Sony had a big rivalry, so it was kind of like Crash versus Mario and Spyro versus Mario, that kind of stuff. So Spyro was at like pretty much the top of the mountain in terms of gaming, and he's kind of been there for a little while. So I mean, obviously the late 90s, like I said, and of course over that amount of time. Has been spanning out spanned several games, such as some good ones that people really enjoyed, like some of the earlier ones, such as Ripto's Rage. That was a pretty big one. Let's see what else. Year of the Dragon. That was another pretty good one. You had Enter the Dragonfly. I think I hear a little bit more mixed feelings about that one, but still gets talked about. And then, of course, we have to also bring up the fact that the Reignited trilogy, which happens to be releasing on the Nintendo Switch in early September, so that's is that next week? It's within the next 14 days for sure, maybe within the next 7 days for sure, but I mean, hey, so Spyro's been on Nintendo consoles. I guess that's kind of the point of this in a way as well, because that always seems to be a factor for people. Has this character been on Nintendo consoles? Yes, Spyro's been on Nintendo consoles in the past. And obviously, like I just stated, the Reignited trilogy is going to be on the Switch, so you got that looking forward to. So potentially, Nintendo could kind of, if there is a Direct in September, maybe they kind of correlate the two. It'd be like, hey, Spyro's game came out on the Switch earlier this month, and then whenever the Direct drops, maybe they kind of tie in the two, kind of keeping with the momentum the Spyro the Dragon franchise has going for it. So yeah, there's a little bit of a background about Spyro. So let's move on and talk about just another franchise Spyro was in, which happens to be the Skylander franchise. Now, if you didn't know, pretty much early to mid to maybe even late 2000s, the Skylanders franchise was so big and such a massive success for Activision. They ended up coming up with the Toys to Life concept, which absolutely sold insanely well, made them a ton of money. And with the Skylanders franchise, Nintendo and Activision actually partnered at one point to create some Nintendo version Skylander figures, and those included Hammer Slam Bowser, which actually was pretty cool. The designs actually on these two are pretty neat. But you also had turbocharged Donkey Kong in there as well, which, now that I'm thinking about this, I don't talk about this later, but maybe have a version of those two characters on the Spirit board. If Spyro were to be a character and then he gets his own spirits, obviously you could have a Hammer Slam version of Bowser and a turbocharged Donkey Kong. That'd be pretty sick, actually. That makes for some fun little fights and cool little tie-ins. But so yeah, and with those Skylander figures, it kind of led the way to Nintendo creating their own amiibo line of the Toys to Life program, which obviously the Skylanders did massive success. Amiibo's early days, those things were sold out everywhere. You couldn't find anything you wanted, except for Mario, Link, and Pikachu. They were practically everywhere. But Amiibos were in such high demand, it made Nintendo big bucks, and well, that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They're a company trying to make money, so potentially, I don't know. I mean, we got Bowser and Donkey Kong as a Skylander figure. Why couldn't we potentially get a Spyro amiibo figure? Huh? You know, kind of trading off here a little bit. That'd be pretty cool. Spyro's an amiibo. Come on, that'd be awesome. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? I do. I do. But now moving on to the attack portion. So I'm going to break down some attacks, how Spyro could potentially work as a character. So Spyro does have some pretty cool features in which he can attack with. And those things could be as simple as, moves that would involve using, his headbutt with the horns. Got that going. Using the tail for maybe tail swipes or tail jabs, something like that for an effect. Using the wings for potentially like wing swipes, wing attacks. That could potentially make sense as well. And then, of course, traditionally you're going to have fire breathing and charging with Spyro, because that's pretty much what he was in the original game. Fire breathing and charging around. So, yeah, and of course, I'm going to break down a few ideas that I have for potential moves. So let's get started. So first up, the first idea for Neutral B that I thought of would be a very simple Fire Breath. Now this is not to be confused with Flamethrower, but Fire Breath would be more like a burst of flames than a flamethrower. So not like what Bowser and Charizard have, but this would just be you press neutral, you press the B button, and just a kind of just a burst of flames comes out, and it would be a projectile that just shoots it forward. Pretty simple, does some pretty, mediocre average damage. Potentially you could maybe charge it up, but I have that working in a different way for a different attack later on. But very simple, press the button, little projectile flies out, very simple for Neutral B. Side B, this one makes too much sense. Simple charge attack. If you don't know what a charge is, I mean, come on. I can't make this any simpler. If this helps, think of a bull, and like at the rodeo or whatever, and whoever those people are, I forget what their names are, but they're holding like a red cape, or red towel, red blanket, whatever it is, and they're Toro, a bull charging. That's exactly what Spyro does. He charges. So simply put, Spyro charges in one direction with great speed, and the way I kind of envision it would be potentially similar to Inkling's Splat Roller, but it would do more damage and have no berry effect. So just a bit more powerful version of Inkling's Splat Roller, and probably a bit faster as well. So without the berry effect. So that's kind of how I envision charge attack. And then let's see, down air. Ooh, this one it took me a little bit to come up with something like this, but it finally popped into my head, and I kind of like this one. So down air would be perfect for maybe even like a spike attack, perfect off stage, but a firework missile. So basically, Spyro would just shoot out a firework missile straight downward. So a projectile that goes straight down, easy. Firework missile could explode, and you could have like a nice little effect, a nice little aesthetic to look at. We know what fireworks are. Come on, we know what those are. And then side smash. This is kind of what I was referring to when I was saying fire breath earlier. Potentially, maybe you could charge it up. That's how I envision side smash being, called fire blast. So Spyro would be able to charge this move up, and obviously the more you charge it, the more damage it would cause if it hits an opponent. And the perfect example, think of Mega Man's Side Smash. That you can charge it up, do more damage, or you can just maybe flick the C stick, or maybe just a quick little smash attack to the left or right, whatever it is, and it'd be a smaller version, but it would still pack a punch because it's a smash attack. But yeah, very simple. Think of Mega Man Side Smash. Best comparison that I can come up with. And then, of course, last but not least, let's go over Final Smash. I'm calling this a golden orb. So what this is, Spyro would spawn this little golden orb, and then he would take it and fly off screen. And after maybe 1 to 2 seconds, Spyro comes back. Maybe he's even a lot bigger, and all he does is just kind of flies across the screen, and he just rains down fire upon the stage. So big explosions, big fire burst everywhere. So it's just kind of one big area of damage sort of effect, wherever you could, I don't want to say you would cover an entire stage, because like if you're playing on like Temple or something, but I think you understand. Basically, just come straight across the screen. Fire just gets rained down across the screen. Could be a final smash, so it should cover a pretty good amount of the stage, but yeah, depending on the stage, maybe not the entire stage. So let's now talk about the other potential DLC Spyro could bring with him. So as we know, in the individual fighter pack, you obviously get the character, in this case, which would be Spyro. You would get a stage, you would get music tracks, and you will get your, like a series exclusive spirits. So for spirits, first few things that popped into my head would be Ripto, because he's just a pretty big part of the Spyro franchise. Very memorable boss, memorable character overall. You have Sparks. Come on, Sparks is like always with Spyro, so you got to do something with that. And then maybe other things such as maybe the Professor. He comes to mind. He's been in several games. Maybe even Cinder. That's also a possibility. So those are just a few things that came to mind for spirits. As for stage, I thought of what they're now calling Stone Hill. It's practically kind of the main spot when you first play the Spyro game, and it does actually kind of come back in later installments of the Spyro game, but it's very iconic. I should have a picture up on screen so you guys can kind of see what it would be, but yeah, I think it'd be pretty fun. And then this one, I thought this would be pretty cool. I was thinking about potential alternate skins Spyro could have. So you could have like the Legend version of Spyro. You could have the Skylanders version of Spyro. And I think maybe my favorite one would be Dark Spyro. That would look very sick as a skin. That would probably be my default, my go-to skin if Spyro were to be a character. Gotta go Dark Spyro all the way. So now just last little bit of kind of information that I want to bring up about Spyro and his series in general. So the original Spyro the Dragon game sold over 5 million units, and keep in mind this was back in like the like I said, the late 90s. So 5 million units was absolutely insane. That was a very big number. Still is a big number today, but I mean, think about that. 20 years ago and you're selling 5 million units. That's insane. So the original game sold extremely well, and the series also has sold over 20 million copies as well. So there's no doubt that the series slash this character, Spyro in this case, is in gaming's top echelon, and for sure has earned his spot in, well, arguably we could call it gaming's equivalent to an all-star game, which is Smash Bros. Look at the roster we have. We have not just Nintendo all-stars, Nintendo iconic characters such as Mario and Link, Pikachu and Kirby and Donkey Kong, not just them, but you have third-party characters like Cloud, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Ryu from Street Fighter, you just Simon Belmont. You have so many characters. Snake, we know the roster by now, and Spyro getting added to that just makes quite a bit of sense. Plus, style-wise, he's got the cartoonish style. It fits very well in Smash Bros. Has ready-made moveset. He's got everything going for him in this case. Relevancy, popularity, moveset very easy, iconic in stats, in gaming overall. People know who this character is. People will buy this character if this happens. So I guess we just have to wait and see. Does Spyro get added at some point? Maybe. Does Activision even get a rep in Smash Bros? Also a maybe. We'll end up seeing. But yeah, with that being said, this one's coming to an end. I hope you guys enjoy these little videos. It seems like you do. I have a lot of people come back and say they enjoy it, and then request certain characters. And if you want to request certain characters, feel free to. I love doing this. It's pretty fun. So yeah, we shall have another one of these episodes tomorrow with another new character that we have. Well, honestly, obviously we have not talked about yet, but I'm not going to tell you who that character is yet. You'll find out tomorrow. But yeah, that is going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody.